Okay, everybody, let's show you what's kicking. Well, I've got two of these amps anyway. I've been like working on everybody else's stuff. So anyway, I decided to go ahead and get these things tuned back up. So I've changed out some of the big capacitors, the reservoir capacitors, and on this one I'll put some different tubes in it, and this is my original old one, and this is one I bought later, which is the newer one. And these were amp of the year in 92 of 93, one of them years. And man, these are like, I love these amps, man. They're for me, and they're just a decent, cool sounding amp, and it has the type of sound I like. So I'm not giving nobody no advice, because nobody wants advice anyway, and they don't want to hear it. But I mean, for me, these things are really kicking. Now I'm running through like the Peavey little my test speaker, 15 Black Widow, and but anyway, these things are tuned up. This one's gonna need. I'm gonna change these ribbons out because it's a weak link, but I'm gonna do this one first, and I'm gonna go ahead and because I'll have to pull the amp totally apart. So I'm gonna to do them ribbons. So I'll go ahead and change those and these other. All the main big stores, the big filter caps, the electrolytic. But yeah, this thing, man, I'm glad now. I run them through like ideally, and how I run mine. I run mine to a 412. Now, ideally, I like the Rolla 20 watt, 16 ohm. Old school speakers, when you run them like 16 ohm, you run them parallel, and you're down to 4, man. It's a perfect deal for these, And personally, I like 412s. I don't care for open back. Now, for like people like me that have major back problems, you can get two closed back 212s, and them sound good, just jump them together and run them at 4 ohm. Personally, I like to run these amps at 4 ohm. I don't care for 2/8 at 4 ohm. I like 412s at 4 ohm. To me, it's just the optimum sound. And I just normally I'll just hardwire them and to change the jacks. None of this stereo switching things on your cabinets, man, because those things are a biggest headache and a nightmare for your amp, because they don't carry the load. So I mean, a lot of this new stuff and speakers, a lot of it's really good, but the main thing is 412s. Now, for practicing around the house or whatever, I mean, it really don't matter, but when you crank these things wide open, this one was rated at 25 watt, and this one was rated at 30 watt. And I mean, to me, it's they're pretty real close. I don't know what gives one 30 and one 25. I mean, but when you wind these things up, and then you run an effects and drive the loop with an effects unit. Okay, now I do have. I bought me not a new, but a 93 or 2 Quad-Reverb, man. I held out and waited for the right one for the right price. And this one's really, really sweet. And I you know what, today's the first chance I've had to try it out, really. So, but it's like mint condition, or next to it. Plus, I know my other one's over there, sitting over there. It smoked, so I needed a new one, and I'm glad I took my time and waited on the right deal. So patience paid off there. Okay, let me see here. Yeah, let's get a little sound. A little sound. Let's see how this thing sounds. Okay. But and then we'll plug the other one up too, so you can hear the two different ones. So let me put my guitar on. Okay, I'm plugged straight in, and you know these amps, when you wind these things up and like I said, the 412, with like selections, and when they're wired like right, the 20 watts, them old school roller selections, man, there's just something about them. But anyway, let's see what we got going on here. All right. Okay, look. This is an old school DiMarzio pickup that came out of the Hondo Les Paul copies. But it's a DiMarzio, and they call it a K10. And man, I just like the sound of them, man. I had like one time I had one of those Les Paul guitars with the neck broke off. It was like stuck in my yard like a tombstone. And on one of my Les Pauls, the pickup went out, and that thing sat out there for about 3 years. I mean, for real. And so I went out there in the yard and pulled it out and took the pickups out, and I was surprised that they were DiMarzio. And then, man, those two pickups were like the hottest pickups for me. With through my Marshall, my rig I had back then, they were just awesome. And ever since then, I like them. So. That ain't a bad sound. So let me plug in. Let me turn this one down, and then we'll crank this other amp up. Okay. But you get the idea. Now that's just one. That I'm that's just one. That's a 115. So it's a much sweeter tone when you have 412 in a closed back. Well, that's closed back, but all right. So we will. This is the guitar. Yeah, the dude that James Brown, he's a Mississippi dude, the guy that worked at Peavey, that made them 5150s for Eddie Van Halen, is the one he designed these amps, and he's the business. I mean, he don't work there no more, but all them amps that have his name on them are nice. Pretty badass. So he's going to go down as one of the baddest ass amp builders. If you look on Tone Talk, oh shit, he's on Tone Talk doing an interview, pretty interesting. Okay, we'll play this other one so you get the idea. Okay. Now, to me, I don't know if it's the tubes or not. I had to change some tubes out on this one, but now you hear that noise? That's the fans running. Okay, now there's no disquieter reverb. I don't have it plugged in. See, man, these amps just sound good. It's singing almost. Almost singing. If I had that 412, it would sing. That's the 115. See, if I had that effects in there with that gate, see, I use a gated reverb, so for rhythms. But I'm gonna have that thing programmed and I'll do a video. All right, okay, everybody, later.